Back to Blue Raiders Stadium where Lindsey Wilson's victorious today, 43-30, and Coach Chris Oliver joins me now. And Coach, that had to be a fun game with the coach.
Yeah, it was. That's a really good football team we just beat. I think they're going to win a lot of games down the stretch. They're tough to play against, and I'm just so proud of our kids and how we played and handled adversity. We had a lot of adjustments this week, more than a typical week. We had a lot of adjustments on defense. And, it's crazy to say that our defense played really well. You give up 540 yards, but they ran 96 plays.
Yep.
If you would have seen their other 3 games, you'd be convinced that our defense played really well, and I'm proud of those guys.
You actually averaged more yards per play, 5.8 to their 5.6. I don't think there was any surprises today, right? I mean, they crossed a little bit more than maybe you thought they were going to do, the receivers, but for the most part, you knew they were going to try to spread you out and run it down your throat. And again, I thought for the most part, they broke a couple of runs, but it was a good job by your defensive line to kind of hold them from breaking out anything big.
Yeah, I mean, their rushing yards, we just didn't allow those big chunk plays. They kind of worked it down the field, but again, this is a team that was averaging, I think, 360 rushing yards a game, I believe, off the top of my head. So you think they had 240 on 59 carries. We just didn't allow the big play very often. And a couple times they got over our head in the passing game, so we got to get that fixed. But we did a great job of making them earn it and drive down the field, not giving them 1-play, 2-play series like they had all year. And, our defensive staff came up with a great game plan, and credit goes out to the kids for executing it.
4 takeaways today.
Wow.
Turnovers are always huge, but when you get a top 10 battle or a 2-ranked team battle, turnovers are even bigger then. And today, your guys took it away 4 times.
Yeah, for sure, and that's just huge. And we had it in all ways. And, that was big. We forced their quarterback to throw it, and it's one of the ways we said we wanted him to have to beat us. And I think he isn't a good player, but if you're playing the number 1 rushing team in the country or number 2 or whatever they are, and you aren't committed to trying to stop the run, then you're crazy. So we said that's the way we were going to make him do it, and we got to him enough times that allowed us to get some picks and be opportunistic right there.
Offensively, Blake Ingleton was terrific. 168 net yards. I'm going to say somewhere in the vicinity of 90 of those came after the first hit.
Yeah.
He was so good today at either carrying runners or carrying tacklers or bouncing off those people.
Yeah.
His second effort today was terrific.
He played a great game. I told him on Wednesday, I think it was, I said, first of all, you better get your sleep this week. Obviously, we're talking about hydrating with everyone. I said, but you better get your sleep because, we said, as a coaching staff, we wanted him to get at least 20 touches today. It looks like he had at least 22 carries and then maybe a pass or 2 as well. So we got those, and he did a great job. And, that last one, obviously credit, you got to go to the offensive line and tight ends for blocking. That last long touchdown run, we went to a 2 tight end formation. We hadn't been in that formation since play 3 or 4 of the game, and our tight ends did a great job on the front side. Marcus Graham was pulling around, and Blake did a great job reading it. So, Blake had a great game, but proud of the way we ran the ball with the offensive line. And then I'm going to switch gears on. You got the kickoff return.
Yep.
And, Blake gets that too, and that is great for him. But one of the things that's kind of behind the scenes and special teams, and you and I talked about special teams before the game. We put in an adjustment on our kickoff return to try and take advantage of something that they did. And all those things are good when you draw them on the board, but it takes the kids to go out and execute it. And they did exactly what we thought on that particular kickoff. And we got an extra blocker because of that adjustment. And our kids did it, and then we go out and get a touchdown off that. And, that makes you feel great as a coach to see those kids go out and execute those things. And that's a cool feeling.
43-30, Lindsey Wilson defeats Southeastern, improved to 4-0 on the season. Coach, let's stay with that theme, talk about special teams for just a moment. Blake had the return for a touchdown. Your kick coverage was again excellent today. Jared Doherty hit 3 huge field goals, ties a program record set by Mark Corbin. So again, I think it was a win today in that aspect for the Blue Raiders.
Yeah, for sure. And then the other thing that, there was a bad snap on it, but I would say we were about to block that punt. Probably doesn't go as a punt block in the stats because of the way the play developed with the snap, but I think we were coming through to block that punt on the first one of the game. And that's something we kind of gamed up and had an opportunity there. So I really felt like we had some advantages in the special teams if we could go out and execute. Again, all the coaches, it's all well and good. You draw it on the board, and the kids got to go out and do it. They did it today.
I can't believe I forgot Hunter Love averaging 48 yards per punt today. Had a 74-yarder right there. And that was a big play.
Yeah, for sure. And then, they happened to get a hold on that one. So all of a sudden we flipped the field, and they were snapping off the 10-yard line or wherever that was. Or 12.5. I mean, that was just a huge punt. We negated a couple of those times when the offense got stopped. There were 2 times where he hit it over the returner's head. Just a great job punting and changing field position for us.
Lindsey Wilson with a 13-point win today. We're talking to LWC head football coach Chris Oliver after the Blue Raiders defeat Southeastern and improved to 4-0 on the season. So many good things came out of today. I thought you did a great job, or your kids bought into the fact that, hey, we got to clean up the penalties. You did that today. There's no doubt about it. You ended up the game with 6 penalties, just 38 yards, just a stark contrast from last week.
Yeah, for sure. And not just the extracurriculars that got cleaned up, but the other stuff that you have control of between the whistles too. And just did a much better job of that. So again, credit to the kids for going out and doing it, and we got to continue to be better in that fashion. And
finally, obviously you're battling a good team, but you had to overcome some adversity there.
Yeah.
Allen got dinged, Tyrone Stollard got dinged, both of them came back in the game.
Yeah.
I know Tony Brackens was battling some cramps. There was a few other, Romy Dukes went down for a moment. There was some things that you guys had to overcome. Now, every team does it during the game, but it's something that you had to overcome today, and your kids fought through it.
Yeah, I thought there were some difficulties for us, kind of some things behind the scenes, and we were down 2 wide receivers before the game started. And then we had another one, kind of kept out some guys' precautionary things that will have to get evaluated tomorrow on some things. So, we were down to about 5 receivers there at the end of the game, and, we're running a lot of plays on an 89-degree day. So, those guys fought through it, and you're right, it wasn't just on offense, it was across the board. And that's part of it, but it still makes you proud to see those guys fight that. And, we got to get healthy. We got dinged up today, and we got to get healthy and be ready to go here in 7 days again.
Coach, thanks so much. Great win today.
Thanks, Chris.
That's LWC head football coach